like, share and subscribe. Weddings and more weddings. Does it feel like you are constantly going to weddings? Lately it seems like everyone I know has been getting married. I understand how hard it's to actually go through getting married. I've done it, but now I've to sit through wedding after wedding and come up with things to do so not to be bored. Try not to get lost in thought, but don't go without thought completely. The simplest answer if you are bored at a wedding is to just zone out. This actually works really well, but it definitely shouldn't be done all the time. You don't want your family or friends to know that you are bored, and this will be a dead giveaway. Though, that's not to say that you should never zone out. It's best used sparingly, during times when number one will notice. If you start to get restless in your seat, pull out your cell phone and say you've an important business call. This is an especially great escape device for getting out of having to talk to people you don't like. It will also enable you to stretch your legs while you walk around and look at paintings on the walls or explore the building you are in. Meditation is another great thing to do. This works well when you can't leave your seat. What you do is listen to all the sounds around you. This will include people talking, crying, laughing, sneezing, bells, etc. Listen to them as if you are listening to music until their meaning starts to disappear. It helps if you focus on your breathing. To breathe out, just let the air fall out of you naturally and don't force it. Do the same for inhaling. Let your body naturally start to inhale on its own. Eventually this will slow your breathing down and your body will become very relaxed. As long as you don't take it too far, you won't zone out. It helps if you realize why you are actually bored. Sometimes you are only bored simply because you are not paying attention. Try turning your attention towards whatever is going on in the ceremony and really listen. Pay attention to every single word that every person is saying. Listen really carefully and you'll develop a greater sense of awareness and will possibly become not bored anymore. Sometimes boredom comes out of hatred. Do you dislike the person whose wedding or event you are at? Think about why you dislike this person. Do you even remember why? Try to purge your hatred and think about all the things you like about them instead. By the end of the ceremony, I'm sure you'll feel a lot better and will feel much more comfortable when approaching them to congratulate them or shake their hand or give them a hug. So in the end, if you are really bored, there's probably a very good reason. If you are able to recognize why this is, and more importantly if you are able to correct it, I'm sure you'll turn your boredom into something else and you may even have a good time. Understanding gurus of India. Most people don't know who is a guru. They think of guru as a human being. That's not so, and that is why there are very few gurus in the world. Hinduism defines guru thus: if God in all his glory appears as a human being to give his grace, he is called guru. The body is only to manifest the words. It has no other meaning whatsoever. 100 of Indians act as gurus in India and abroad. They're all not gurus. They know how to speak well. All gurus are same. No guru is higher or lower. All are enlightened beings, at the same level. Only a guru can make you a guru. That takes lot of time and not everyone can become a guru. Most of the people get lost with bogus gurus. It's the past and present karma that determines whether one will meet a true guru. Gurus have no levels. There is no official body to recognize gurus. Some of them may be in the Himalayas, unknown to all of us. Even otherwise, a guru never says that she is the guru. We get signals that we're with somebody who is all-powerful. Brahman is inside you. According to Hinduism, you are also Brahman. You've to recognize that, and guru helps you do that. Brahman is both visible and invisible. Helping others is one of the most important ways to reach guru. Those who help others get guru's blessings. There are many other ways, but this is one of the easiest. The other is chanting. Chanting your mantra. If guru has yet not given you mantra, think of him and begin chanting Om Namah Shivaya. Let the chant take your whole being. Slowly guru's grace will enter your life. Buddha, Lord Dattatreya, Ramakrishna, Swami Vivekananda, Baba Nityananda, Baba Muktananda, Sai Baba of Shirdi and Gurumai are some of the gurus of India. Women's work jackets by Dickies. There are so many women working in the workforce today that yes, there is a need for specialty women's clothing that fits the physique of the woman. In addition, many of the specialty work clothes offer designs and extras that only a woman can truly appreciate. Working apparel designers offer more because the woman demands more in herself and her workplace environment. For instance, women's work jackets by Dickies simply offer the best when it comes to outerwear for the working woman. Of course, as a woman, there is more than simply being functional that matter to a woman. So what is it that women's work jackets by Dickies offer that busy woman and her working experience? Comfort. There is nothing quite like the comfort felt when wrapping that special work coat around your torso. The lining is soft, adding to your comfort as well as your warmth. You demand more in terms of workability and comfort, so you can get more than you ever imagined when you trust women's work jackets by Dickies. Versatility. Nothing is better for the working professional than a versatile piece of working apparel. When that comes as a coat or outerwear, you will find you've opened up a whole new horizon for you and your working experience. Versatility is important simply because that outerwear has to be perfect for many jobs and tasks, but a versatile outerwear will also be perfect for wearing outside of the workplace. You can have it all, so why trust anyone else? Functionality. There are few people that want working apparel that does not add functionality to the task at hand. Pockets are generally the preferred method of adding functionality to the outerwear chosen. If you are looking for functionality in your women's work jackets by Dickies, you will be surprised at all the space you'll have made available to you. Affordability. There is nothing as nicely surprising as discovering your working apparel is not going to cost you an arm and a leg. This outwear by one of the most reliable and versatile workforce designers on the market today is highly cost-effective, bordering on downright cheap prices. This is of course an appreciated bonus for many women on a budget. Stylish and aesthetically pleasing. Of course, being stylish and aesthetically pleasing is not always the main goal of your workplace outerwear, but when you get that as well, you will have found a piece of workplace apparel that helps you put fun back in functional. These are so attractive and stylish you may just find you are wearing them not just to work. Yes, you can have it all when you trust what you get from Dickies. If you are a working woman, you understand that not everything is peaches and roses. Sometimes you get cold and downright dirty. In fact, many women enjoy getting their hands dirty. When you trust women's work jackets by Dickies, you'll find a workplace apparel designer that appreciates your specific needs and provides you the opportunity to get dirty, but to get dirty in complete style and comfort. Why so many people are identity theft victims? So many people out there today have been identity theft victims, and there are many explanations for this. Basically, there are so many identity theft victims largely in part due to the fact of how technologically advanced the world has become. After all, there is practically number one out there today that does not have or use a computer, and so that right there goes to show why there are so many identity theft victims. Since the internet first came out, it has been much easier for people to steal other people's identities, and it and s in fact so common now that odds are that you know someone or maybe even more than two person of which have already been identity theft victims. If you learn all that you can, then you can protect yourself against it and not be included in the identity theft victims category. How to protect yourself. There are really many different things that you can do in order to protect yourself from identity theft. For instance, you can make sure that you don't have any credit cards unless you absolutely need them, and if you are someone who does need them, then at least make sure that you only have one or two rather than a whole bunch. This way you'll be less likely to lose one, and as well you will have less credit card numbers that are able to get out in the open and get taken and used by an identity theft perpetrator. Another good idea is to make sure that you rip up all of your bank receipts and statements once you leave the bank, unless you've a safe place in your home that you keep them. You never want to leave your bank receipt on the top of the ATM machine, for instance, because someone can actually take that and use the information on it and steal your identity. It's actually really unbelievable as to how easy it is for someone to steal your identity, and so you definitely want to make sure that you take all of the precautions that you possibly can. There are so many people out there that are more than willing to help you out throughout this process, and so you want to make sure that you take full advantage of this so that you can get as much information and protect yourself as best you can. Wedding list. Why is it only special people have special weddings? Weddings are notably known to be one of the happiest day in a person's life, and yet everyone cries at them. The mind boggles. Could it be about losing a son or daughter, or could it be that others know what lays ahead if the couple that are about to marry get it wrong when organizing their wedding list, leaving them with a huge amount of debt? Wedding list arrangements should be carefully planned well in advance to save any heartache at a later date, like when setting up a home or even having to put on hold the sound of tiny feet that pitter-patter in the night because of financial difficulties. This is not the way to start married life. What it can be is the start of divorce proceedings if not careful. Weddings planned on a budget are just as special as the wedding that is not. The only difference is that one costs more than the other. An organized wedding list or rota prioritizing your wedding in stages will prove to be a stress-free task. We are all aware that two heads are better than one, so why not have a friend or member of the family sit down with you and write a wedding list too? Then compare each other's notes. You will be surprised how some wedding essentials are easily overlooked. Remember to itemize all wedding ideas onto a master copy wedding list. Once the wedding list has been finalized with all what's needed for your wedding, call up your friend twos again for some advice on how they think you can save money on the more costly items like the venue hall, wedding cars, reception, etc. Cost-effective can be effective if done tastefully, especially like that the arranging of the bridal bouquet or wedding cake. Homemade cakes are just as tasty, delicious, and the flowers just as fresh, created by your own hand. Other ways of saving on the pennies is to have family members help with the wedding catering instead of a sit-down lavish meal. Settle for the running buffet. You just lavish the thought. Wedding invitations can also be specially designed to match the theme of your wedding by you yourself with the help of a home computer, which I hasten to add is another great way to find ideas and tips from online wedding sites that give out free information on how to make your wedding day special. The options are endless for the future bride and groom to even out their bank balance to cover the cost. Special weddings are planned by special people who want something special out of life, and if that is to have a happy life, then that has to be the most special wedding essential to be itemized on that wedding list. Victorian theme wedding planning. Their Victorian-era wedding ceremony is usually governed by the religious formularies of the church to which the bride and groom may belong, which chooses the clergyman for its performance. The bride has typically 2 bridesmaids and the groom the same number of groomsmen. However, it's possible to alter the number of bridesmaids and groomsmen. It's merely a guideline, not a law, and it may be modified. The appropriate Victorian ceremony is normally performed at 12 o'clock in the day, at the church, which is first entered by the bride resting on the arm of her father, uncle, or the person is to give her away. Next comes the groom alongside the mother or closest female relative. The groomsmen and bridesmaids arm in arm follow the bride and groom. The closest relatives complete the procession to the altar where the bride and groom take their places in advance, with the parents closely following and the rest gathered in a group around them. The groom is responsible for presenting the wedding ring and have it in readiness at the appropriate moment when called upon to place it on the bride's ring finger. The ring is placed on the 3rd finger from but not counting the thumb of the left hand. After the marriage ceremony is complete, the question now and then arises whether the bride is to be kissed by the groom. Historically, the kiss is considered improper behavior, but it's of course common practice today. In conclusion, friends and family in the church congratulate the bride and groom. Elderly relatives may kiss the bride in congratulation. Queen Victoria herself was kissed by the Duke of Sussex but not by Prince Albert. The newlyweds then return to the bride's house together, taking precedence of all, and on arrival, assume a standing position at one end of the reception room and await the coming of the invited guests who, as they enter, are presented by the groomsmen to offer their congratulations. The usual breakfast or dinner closes the Victorian marriage ceremony. The real meaning of holidays. The holiday season is a wondrous and magical time to bring in good cheer, joyful tidings, and fun-filled celebrations. It's a time when family, friends, and loved one get together and celebrate the general good feeling and timeless traditions that mark this season. Sparkling decorations, melodious Christmas songs, delicious meals, delectable cookies, satisfying chocolate and milk concoctions, and pretty stockings filled with goodies and gifts seem to fill every household as each welcome the holiday seasons to their midst. Mistletoes are found in every nook and cranny for sweethearts longing to share a sweet kiss. Parents grant their beloved children with tender hugs and wondrous gifts, and everybody wears that enchanting one-of-a-kind smile that welcomes the holiday spirits. Stressful holidays. There are more to the holidays than meets the eye, though. With the number of gifts being exchanged during the holiday seasons, it's no wonder that although holidays can be fun and cheerful, stress is something you cannot avoid completely. The holiday season prompts the retail sector to seek various methods of increasing their sales, and this account for a lot of people to mill about the stores, malls and shopping depots all over the country. Too much people moving about and the lack of parking space when going out shopping can really dampen the holiday spirits and put some people in a bad mood, much like Scrooge, a Christmas character whom we can talk about in another article. Feels during this time. Peak season for retail stores usually start at the beginning of each winter season and ends with a much publicized winter sale or clearance sale at the start of January. Stress becomes a regular visitor during the holidays indeed. And what about the various preparations needed to celebrate the holidays? You go out and buy the Christmas tree, decorate your whole house with Christmas ornaments, prepare the food for your family and guests, and of course do the cleaning up after. Sometimes, if you really think hard, Christmas season is as tiring and as stressful as all the other holidays put together. The real meaning. But is the holiday season really a time for celebration or stress, or is it more than just a mere season? If you really look at it, the holiday season is not just in celebrations, decorations and gift giving. Christmas is a time for giving the best gift in the whole world, and that's love. This powerful and stirring emotion has been pushed so much into the background of the celebration, even though this very much is the reason why we celebrate Christmas in the first place. During Christmas we celebrate the birth of our Savior, the one who sacrificed his life because of his love for us. Wouldn't it be more significant if we learn to live our lives like he did and share our love with others too, especially during the holiday seasons? Helping those in need and sharing your love to the unfortunate persons would surely make your holiday more meaningful than ever. The good times are guaranteed by the wedding singer. There are 3 things that all wedding receptions must include to turn out as memorable and successful events. The 3 gigaseconds of good food, good times and good entertainment will make your wedding reception into an event enjoyed by all who attend. Generally, taking care of the first and third of these concepts will guarantee the second. Good food is generally attained by hiring a competent caterer and not serving okra. Good entertainment brings with it a number of options, and unfortunately none are ever ensured to be as good as they purport. One entertainment option for wedding receptions is the wedding singer. For far less than you'd pay a band and a bit more than you can expect to pay a DJ, you can get an entertainer that's a master of ceremonies, singer and comedian all rolled into one. Popularized by Adam Sandler's 1998 film The Wedding Singer, the person fulfilling this role at your reception will entertain you and your guests from start to finish. The wedding singer keeps the show aspect of the reception rolling along smoothly by providing music for dancing and introducing various aspects of the reception, such as the throwing of the bouquet garter and the unwrapping of wedding gifts. A good wedding singer will be the life of the party, keeping everyone in a good mood and having a good time by filling the lulls with witty comments and by singing his heart out. Some wedding singers will also have the guests sing, making parts of the reception a kind of karaoke party. Everyone loves karaoke. Even those who claim to despise it actually have a tiny Mel Torme, David Lee Roth or Richard Cheese deep inside them, just aching to get out. The wedding singer will bring this out in people. Finding a wedding singer to hire for your reception is often as easy as looking through the telephone directory or searching the internet. You'll find that there are all types of wedding singers available to perform at your reception. Wedding singers will generally have a variety of musical styles to offer in their repertoire. Some offer general services which include a number of popular songs that they can perform at your wedding. Others are more specialized and offer tribute performances to famous singers like Frank Sinatra, Dean Martin, Tony Bennett, or even the likes of Barry Manilow or Burt Bacharach. Most will be more than happy to discuss your musical tastes with you and gear their performances accordingly. Whatever musical style suits your particular tastes, you are sure to be able to locate a wedding singer willing to perform it for you. Wedding singers can do it all for you, and the good ones can make for a truly entertaining experience. When you are planning the entertainment for your wedding reception, consider hiring a wedding singer to help make sure your event fulfills the requirement of the 3 gigaseconds and is a memorable occasion for you and your guests. The meaning of different wedding flowers. If you plan to walk down the aisle anytime soon, you should be aware that the flowers you carry might say more than you intended. That's right, most flowers carry a meaning or a special significance that has been passed down from generation to generation. We can trace this flower talk back to the Victorian era. It was improper in those days for a man to come out and tell a lady how he felt, so he would choose a flower with special meaning and send it her instead. Because the meaning of flowers was so well known, the woman receiving them understood the message as clearly as if it was written on a piece of paper. Today many people don't speak flower talk, but on a day as important as your wedding you should place a special emphasis on what the flowers that you carry mean. Let's start by looking at a few of the most popular wedding flowers and then examine their meanings. Roses. There is a reason that roses are the most popular choice of flowers for brides. A white rose stands for innocence, beauty and charm, just the traits every bride wants to portray. A bride that chooses red roses for her wedding flowers is sending a message of passion for a fiery love. If dark pink roses are used for a wedding, the couple is expressing a thankfulness that they found each other. An ivy-colored rose stands for fidelity in the marriage, something every new couple strives for. Tulips. If you are having a spring wedding, there is simply no better way to express your love for your future spouse than by carrying a bouquet of tulips. They're not only beautiful, but speak of an undying love. Daisies. Daisies are many people's favorite flower, but not a lot of brides use them in their wedding decor. They might if they understood their significance. Daisies stand for romance and an innocent spirit. Does that describe you? Calla lilies. These graceful flowers are reminders of our past generations when grace and beauty were the rule. Associated with elegance and charm, a calla lily would be the perfect flower if you wanted to create a sophisticated atmosphere for your wedding. Now that we've looked at some of the most popular flowers, let's talk about how to use them to create just the right wedding event for you. If you want a fairy tale type wedding, then you can't go wrong with roses. Lots of them combine pinks, both dark and soft, and white and ivy colored ones. Be sure to wrap them in lots of sparkling tulle that matches the other colors in your wedding. For a more sophisticated affair, use calla lilies. You can carry a single stem for a simple look, or a large bouquet for a stunning effect. Be sure to combine these flowers with elegance both in the wedding party's attire and the surrounding decorations. For a more casual event such as a beach wedding, use daisies to make your guests feel cheery and at home. You can tie them with pretty ribbons that match the other colors in your wedding's decor and then mix them with loads of baby's breath. Finally, there simply is no better flower for a garden wedding than the tulip. Choose soft pastel colors to create a spring wedding and then combine them with lots of feathery greenery, white linen and adoring looks. As you can see, the flowers that you choose for your wedding will definitely set the mood. Knowing that before you select your flowers, determine what type of wedding and reception event you want to have. Once you do that, choosing the flowers will be a breeze. The negative aspects of your zodiac sign. Everyone hates to focus on the bad stuff, but let's face it, how can you improve if you don't know what to improve upon? So let's get to it. What does your astrology sign unpleasantly say about you? Aries. March 21st, April 19th. Your ruling planet is Mars, the god of war. This sums up your personality quite well, don't you think? Always ready for a battle, you rams never back down. Well, that's because you are always right, at least in your mind. Advice. Temper, Aries. Losing your cool when things don't go your way does nothing to boost your popularity. Try yoga. Taurus. April 2nd, May 20th. One word describes Taurus to a T: stubborn. Getting you to change your mind is like closing a revolving door, impossible. Advice. I understand that you never say die, but sometimes you may want to admit critical injury. Pick and choose your battles. Gemini. May 21st in June 20. You are an air sign, Gemini, and to say you are flighty would be an understatement. If life were a kitchen, you would have a hand in preparing every dinner. But when it comes to supper time, no meals would actually be ready. Advice. Focus, Gemini, focus. Sigh, you are not even reading this anymore, are you? Cancer. June 21st, July 22nd. With mood swings off the charts, Cancers make great homebodies and told you sauce. Oh, and lunatics, after all, you are ruled by the moon. Advice. Drop the martyrdom vibe. Get out of your shell and have a good time more often. Leo. July 23rd, August 22nd. If asked to name 5 words to describe herself, a Leo couldn't just stop at just 5. You see, Leos are to modesty as goldfish are to blueberries. Meaning, Leos and modesty have nothing to do with each other. Advice. Just because the lion is your symbol does not mean you can be king of the jungle all of the time. Share the limelight. Virgo. August 23rd, September 22nd. Mr. Clean has nothing on you, Virgo. Everything in your life must be neat, tidy and completed to perfection. After all, it's all about you. Advice: would it kill you to compliment a friend? I know it's tough. Just make something up. Libra. September 23rd, October 22nd. Shopping, sleeping, looking good. Vanity. Thy name is Libra. And don't even think about asking a Libra to make a decision. They fence it like it's their job. Advice: not all mirrors are there to reflect. Some are actually there for show. Try to walk past one without looking, Libra. Scorpio. October 23rd, November 21st. I'm a bit nervous to say anything negative about you, Scorpio. You may plot horrifying revenge. So, I'll just say Scorpios are kind of scary. Advice: honestly, Scorpio. Your intensity is burning a hole through my soul. No, that's not a good thing. Sagittarius. November 22nd, December 21st. Open mouth. Insert foot again and again and again. Take a Sagittarius to a formal event and she'll embarrass you every time. But take one to a kegger and she'll be the first with the lampshade. Advice: I know leaping without looking is exciting, but try not to be so impulsive, Sagittarius. Capricorn. December 22nd, January 19th. Contrary to Capricorn belief, there is more to life than money. And although Capricorns may find this hard to accept, 2 weekends are two: leaving the house, not staying home to count one's money. Advice: pessimism doesn't look good on anybody. Lighten up, Capricorn. Aquarius. January 20th, February 18th. The mad scientists of astrology. Most people see Aquarians as just plain weirdos. And Aquarians like that. Advice: always the loner. Try to branch out and sail in new seas. Pisces. February 19th, March 20th. Just like their watery cousins mermaids and the Loch Ness Monster, Pisces people live in a fairy tale world, in a state of confusion. Advice: it's time to wake up. Living in a dream world may be fun, but it could cause nightmares in reality. The perfect wedding ring that will last forever. The wedding ring is perhaps the single most important piece of jewelry that you will give to your spouse in your lifetime. It's important that you choose a timeless ring that will not become outdated or unstylish after a length of time. Men and women have different options available to them when choosing a wedding ring, and it's not required that they choose matching rings. The couple traditionally picks out their rings together, so there is no need for either the bride or groom to become unnecessarily stressed out about choosing the perfect wedding ring. Choosing the rings together takes a great deal of pressure off of the couple, because they do not have to worry that their spouse may not like the ring that's expected to last for their entire lifetime. The material of the ring is an important consideration for both men's and women's rings. The most common materials include gold, silver and platinum, although the rings can be made of any material that the couple chooses. Gold is the most popular wedding ring material. Gold can be 14-karat gold, 18-karat gold and 24-karat gold. Of these three options, 14-karat gold is the type that is most recommended for wedding rings. 14-karat gold is durable without sacrificing luster. 18-karat gold can also be used for wedding rings, but because it's a softer metal, it's more prone to scratches. 24-karat gold is even softer than 18-karat gold, and many don't recommend it creating rings out of 24-karat gold because it's so prone to scratches. Silver is another metal that can also be used in creating a wedding ring. Silver is a soft white metal that's very soft and therefore prone to scratching. Additionally, it's also prone to tarnishing and discolorations, but it is still a popular choice because of its relatively low cost. Platinum is a precious metal that's becoming increasingly popular as wedding ring material. Although platinum is considered too soft to be used in making rings, small amounts of ruthenium and iridium can be added to platinum to increase the hardness and result in a wedding ring that is extremely durable. After choosing a metal for the wedding ring, it's time to consider the style of the ring. When it comes to style, there are even more options available than there are for metals. Some of the basic wedding ring styles include flat bands, half-round bands, and comfort bands. A flat band is one that's rectangular in cross-section. These types of bands are also decorated with engravings. Half-round bands are the most traditional style available. These bands are flat on the underside or against the finger and have an arched structure on the top. Comfort fit bands feature an oval cross-section and they are heavier and more expensive than the other types of rings. If a bride intends to wear her wedding band with her engagement ring, she should consider choosing a wedding band style that matches her engagement ring so that neither one overpowers the other. Once you've decided on a metal and style, it's time to choose whether or not to engrave your wedding ring. A good jeweler should be capable of engraving anything you want onto your ring, including letters, numbers and symbols. Many couples choose to have their names or initial along with the wedding date engraved on the inside of the ring. This is not necessary though, as the couple is not required to have the rings engraved. If the couple does opt for engraving though, they must realize that they can choose to engrave anything they wish on the rings. It could either be names and the wedding date or a phrase that has significant meaning to the couple. The wedding ring is a very important piece of jewelry because it's meant to be worn for a lifetime. When choosing a wedding ring, the material of the ring, the style of the ring, and whether or not to include an engraved sentiment are just a few of the factors to consider. Shopping for a wedding ring can be a wonderful experience if the couple makes an effort to enjoy the experience instead of stressing about it. Tips for planning wedding flowers. When planning your wedding flowers, you must consider them to be the bride's arrangements, reflecting the spirit of her life's happiest day. From bouquets to decorations and wedding reception flowers, many brides are clueless about which one of them to select. Flowers should be chosen according to the bride and groom preferences, color of the bride and bridesmaids' dresses, church and reception places, and sticking to the decoration theme if any. Another point to consider is the season, because most floral varieties are easily found year-round, but seasonal flowers are cheaper and easier to find. Fresh flowers are the most viable option when it comes to planning the wedding day, but a few brides prefer dried flowers or artificial ones made of silk. Having an overall perspective of the flowers available throughout the different seasons of the year may help to save money on flowers and yet allow you to select the most appropriate flowers for the big day. Wedding flowers can be classified into spring, summer, autumn, winter, and anytime categories. Spring wedding flowers to choose from are tulips, violets, greenery, fern, pansies, peonies, ivy, daffodils, lilacs, lilies and lily of the valley, dogwoods, irises, forsythia branches, hyacinth, larkspur, sweet peas, apple or cherry blossoms. For summer, the seasonal wedding flowers are daisies, roses, dahlias, zinnias, asters, iris, larkspur, shasta, stock, calla lilies, delphinium, geraniums, hydrangeas, sunflower, sweet william, greenery, beech leaves, ferns, meadowsweet, stock, goldenrod, Jacob's ladder and Queen Anne's lace. During the fall, most wedding arrangements include both flowers and foliage, but not necessary. The mix of these elements is always a decision of the bride, who can choose from a single flower theme to combined floral arrangements with or without specific foliage any time of the year. In autumn, wedding flowers include asters, dried hydrangeas, roses, zinnias, statice, marigolds, chrysanthemums and gerbera daisies, while the most commonly used foliage are autumn leaves, yarrow, rosemary and rosehip. Wedding flowers for winter include the classic poinsettias, as well as orchids, amaryllis, camellias, jasmine and forget-me-nots, in addition to accents of pine, ivy, femme, spruce and rhododendron leaves, so there is no need for dried or artificial flowers, as many brides still believe. Apart from the flowers already mentioned, there are some others available anytime when brides seek fresh flowers, including a variety of carnations and roses, besides of gardenias, baby's breath, snapdragons, stephanotis and ivy, mainly used in wedding bouquets. Wedding flowers are part of your special day but can take a large portion of the wedding budget if not planned in advance. However, their importance should not be underestimated because they're symbol of joyful celebration, prosperity and fertility, contributing to the atmosphere of love joining the bride and groom's lives together. The right perfume for you. Choosing the right perfume can never be an easy task. There are a lot of factors to consider, but it can be rewarding and a lot of fun too. Your fragrance reveals a lot about your personality or what you want it to be. Remember also that certain ingredients in perfumes affect or arouse different kinds of emotions and feelings in people. For instance, spicy scents like musk are believed to be aphrodisiacs, while fruity scents are calming, fresh yet sensual. You must be able to choose the right kind of perfume that will fit your style and your purposes, as well. The first thing to consider when selecting perfume is that you must not get influenced by what perfume advertisements are telling you. It's a big mistake to buy perfumes without trying them out first. Never trust a perfume's description in a magazine or on TV. You've to try out and smell the scents yourself, to make sure that you are getting the right kind of perfume that suits you and your personality. When testing new scents, think about how you would describe them. If you try out a perfume and you think the words sexy, fresh or fun, then these are the messages that you'd be sending to people as well. Try to think about what kinds of scents or smells you really like or are attracted to. Research can be a very valuable tool. Lots of perfumes, especially those that are coming out nowadays, are based on the scent of vanilla. Do you like the aroma of a cake being cake? Or perhaps you prefer the scent of the ocean? If so, oceanic fragrances will work well for you. You may think that you wouldn't want to smell like tea leaves or apples, but these preferences can be clues to what scent is right for you. Another important thing, never assume that just because your friend's perfume smells heavenly, it will also smell the same with you. Consider also the season. During the summer, fresh, fruity and floral fragrances work best and are suited for the season. Spicier and warmer scents are more appropriate for the colder months. Some experts say this also goes for your location. If you are living in tropical climates, for example, wearing fruity and fresh scents would generally be the best choice. Age must also be a factor when choosing perfumes. Not all perfumes are suited for all occasions and age groups. An oriental perfume may come off as too sophisticated for a teenager, for example. These fragrances can have strong scents and are mostly suited for intimate, special occasions. Green perfumes, on the other hand, are light, refreshing and are more appropriate for teenage girls. But how do you test perfumes? Refuse those little cardboard pieces that some salespeople may offer you, and instead try it out on your skin. Spray it on your wrist where the skin is warm so that it will diffuse the scent quicker. Don't rub it into your skin. But don't sniff the perfume immediately after you spray it on either. Wait for several seconds or even for a minute. Sniffing the perfume as soon as you put it on your skin will just overwhelm your senses with the alcohol. You can try on 2 perfumes, though, but spray either one on each wrist. And don't try out more than 2, your nose will get confused and you'll go out of the store smelling like a perfume factory. One more interesting thing you might want to remember. Once you apply a scent, wait for about half an hour. If you can't smell anything by that time but other people can, then that scent is meant for you. The effects global warming may have on our planet. While many realize that global warming is occurring on our planet, few understand the implications that this may have on our way of life. These rising global temperatures are going to cause a host of changes on our planet, and we need to act now or prepare to adjust to some very profound changes. First, these rising temperatures present a huge threat to our ice caps. Layers of ice that have not melted for thousands of years are beginning to break apart and fall into the ocean. One of the biggest ice sheets on the planet, located on Greenland, is at a great risk of splitting apart and falling into the ocean. While it doesn't sound like too big of a deal, the loss of the Greenland ice sheet will cause catastrophic circumstances worldwide. The world's sea level is expected to rise as much as 23 feet when the sheet falls, and that spells disaster for the coastal cities that represent some of the largest and most important centers of trade and commerce across the planet. Manhattan would be sunk, much of Florida would be underwater, and that's not even to mention the worldwide consequences. Every area of the globe would be affected by this rising of sea levels, and the disaster caused would make hurricane damage seem like a blessing. Millions of refugees from the coastal cities will be without home or workplace. It would be one of the hugest human issues ever faced in our history. The changing of the climate could also affect a host of circumstances on our planet. Crop yields can be affected by the rising temperatures, which would also pose significant problems to a planet of refugees. Much of the land may become barren due to the effects of temperature change, and we may find some of our most arable lands subject to the effects of soil erosion and eventually, a transition into desert land. Also, water supplies, forests and plant and animal life would be affected by the planet's changes, and we may not be able to see how significant these changes may affect our lives until they are already upon us, and that reason it's important that we increase our knowledge of global warming and do our best to prevent it in the coming years. While it may have adverse effects on our economy and our way of life, we owe it to our children to give them a peaceful, safe planet to grow up in. To a Big Brother remember 1984. Not the year, but the novel, which ominously described a society in which Big Brother is always watching you. It may have taken a few decades after 1984, but today, it does appear that no matter where you go or what you do, you at least run the risk of being watched and viewed. And, depending on what you are actually doing, watched and viewed can easily transmogrify into caught and exposed. It's no secret that we live in a 24-hour world now. With technology making communication such a simple and instant affair, we can talk to anyone at any time regardless of wherever they live or whatever time zone they dwell in. And because we are living in a state where there is a constant flow of information and news, people are now becoming aware that what you do today may soon be plastered all over the internet within a matter of hours. Cellular phones primarily were designed to make communication mobile and instant. Rather than needing to get a one-quarter than locate a payphone to make a call, you could just pull out your cell phone and dial instantly. But cell phones soon became a tool used to report rather than just to talk. Now, of course, if you via a cell phone and you see someone in distress and who needs assistance, you should definitely make that call. But now there are eyewitness reports coming from cell phone callers of the most trivial things. Again, is that really necessary? Add to that fact that cell phones and most portable electronic devices are now equipped with digital video cameras. Today everyone can be a roving eyewitness reporter and get live first-hand footage of any event just by turning on the cell phone and hitting the record button. From disasters like Hurricane Katrina to the Michael Richards meltdown, events, news and things that aren't so newsworthy were being caught and recorded on video cameras that are popping up just about everywhere. And once it's on a digital video camcorder, the next logical step for it to go to will be online and on the internet. The internet is now the world's news network, and anyone who uploads a video or file onto the web is now a reporter. Everyone is watching everyone else, and everyone can't wait to tell everyone else what everyone else is doing. That's the essence of our completely connected technological world. What makes for the perfect dating formula? People whose marriages unravel most often are filled with sadness and bitterness and find it hard to ever trust or love anyone again. Though these negative feelings may linger for quite a while, it's important for the sake of your happiness that you make an effort to put these emotions aside, and when you are ready to go out and start living again and dating again, you need to believe that you are capable of falling in love and being loved once again. Dating can be the best way to find your ideal life partner. Before jumping into the dating scene, make sure to ask yourself what your needs are and what qualities you want in your new partner. Just read on to learn about the do's and the don'ts of successful dating. Being positive and honest makes for the perfect dating formula. Don't try to hide your past relationships. Instead, be open to your date about your past experiences and partners. If your date is mature and sensitive enough, he or she will understand and empathize with you. Don't exaggerate about yourself or past experiences. Remember, a relationship that is based on dishonesty is bound to fail. Share with your date your expectations for the new relationship and try to understand too what the expectations of your date are. On the basis of your experience, try to judge whether the new man or woman in your life has anything in common with your ex. If there seems to be quite a few similar traits that make you feel uncomfortable, then it may be a good idea to call off the relationship before it gets too serious. Things to keep in mind while dating: there is no rule restricting you to date just one person in the beginning. Try and date actively and even get to know different people through dating services so that you can better understand what type of partner can best provide you with a loving relationship. Dating does not call for any commitment right away. It's only a process that helps you find the right partner that you are willing to commit your love to. Proceed one step at a time to build a long-lasting and enduring love and relationship with your new partner. Being too hesitant or too impatient when dating will not help you find the right partner for you. Don't get emotionally involved right from the very beginning, and don't reveal too much at an early stage. Take time to judge for yourself whether you truly have fallen in love with the person or whether it's just an infatuation. Any relationship between a man and a woman is complex and unpredictable yet exciting. Otherwise, life would be so lonely and meaningless. Dating just helps to make the process easier and more natural to find the right person for you. Wonderful wedding gift ideas most people don't think of. Ever got stuck trying to come up with the ultimate wedding gift? Well, you are not alone. Each day, thousands of people rack their brains trying to come up with unique wedding gift ideas only to throw their hands up in frustration and buy any of the common wedding gifts being sold out there. Below are some wonderful wedding gift ideas most people don't think of that you can use. 1. Gold-plated picture frames. The perfect way to display favorite photos of their special day. Have them engraved with the couple's names and the wedding date for a treasured memory. 2. Etched wine glass. Have their wedding invitation or other special verse engraved on a glass sculpture. This will be treasured for years to come and definitely unique. Or for a little variation, get the actual invitation and mount it on a glass plate and finish it with matching colored paint. 3. Honeymoon photo album. This could be made out of wood with something like a honeymoon to remember engraved on the cover, a perfect place to capture those wonderful honeymoon memories. 4. Gift certificates to a spa for the bride and groom, a great before or after the wedding. The wedding day is often stressful, so you could offer a day at the spa to prepare them for the wedding day. Or they could use it just after their honeymoon as they prepare to resume their regular activities. 5. Keepsake box. As time goes by, memories begin to fade, and what better and a unique gift than a special box where they can safely store all those precious mementos that become more cherished as the years go by. This box is perfect for things like marriage license, special photos, place cards, vows, and all those other special keepsakes that often get lost as time passes. 6. Couples home spa kit. As an alternative for the day at the spa, you could give them a spa in a basket, including monogrammed robes, towels, and a few other relaxing items like candles, bath and body lotions, some romantic music, and even engraved wine glasses accompanied by a bottle of wine for a special evening at home. Now, who says coming up with the perfect wedding gift idea is hard? The next time you go to a wedding, try picking up any of the above wonderful wedding gift ideas and you would be surprised at how well it works. Use safe energy today. In the winter, your home heating cost may rise almost each year. There are many reasons for this rise in heating costs for all types of heat, whether you've electric, gas, or oil heat in your house. There are several things to save money and get ready for the rise of energy costs in your home environment. Check out these tips to see how you can keep your bills lower this winter. Make sure your windows are insulated. Examine every room in your house to make sure your windows are sealed well. You can see if there is a leak by lighting a match and producing smoke near a shut window. If there is a leak, you can see the smoke go towards that part of the window. You can buy kits to patch up your windows and make them better for the winter. A ceiling fan can help bring warm air closer to where you, since warm air always goes up, the fan can help bring it down. You can get some that will help you out in the summer to keep cool too. Keep your doors closed when you aren't in the room. This will help you to keep cold air from escaping to the areas of the house that you use more often. This will also help you save money when you just heat the areas of the room that you are using. Use curtains and blinds to keep heat in. During the day, open your blinds so you get sunlight and then close them when it's dark to keep heat inside. You can really feel the difference when you use the sun's own safe energy to help you heat the rooms in your house, and then close your curtains at night to keep the cold air out. Make sure that your doors are weatherproof too, and make sure you cork your windows. You don't to feel a draft if you don't have to. Check the bottoms of doors to make sure that they aren't drafty. You can use caulk to seal up windows, and if the seal is broken on your windows, make sure that you fix it wherever it's damaged. You can realign your doors because they can begin to sag and lose shape. You should do this before winter so you can have them fitting snugly to keep you warm. Make sure your furnace is in prime working order. You can hire someone to help you with this project and make sure that you are saving money by getting the most out of your furnace. When it's running poorly, you'll be losing money and you can have real issues with safety. To get that revolutionary look with contacts, remember a few things. Contact lenses have caught the fancy of youth like anything and seem determined to keep their success rate up forever. Born as vision correction devices, they have traversed a checkered path to become fashion accessories of the modern times. They're so good at changing your looks that you suddenly appear metamorphosed into someone you are definitely not. A lens gives a certain kind of look to one face and an altogether different look to another. One is left wondering, where does the look come from the lens, from the face, or from the interaction of both? Actually, the difference lies in the face and how the face, the lens, and the color of the eyes mishmash with each other. So now, the lens is king. However, there are a few things that every wearer of the contacts must keep in mind. 1. Keep them clean and disinfected at all times. Come back home, take them off and rinse them with the prescribed solution. That should be your routine daily with the lenses. 2. No overnight wearing. Going to bed with contacts on can be very harmful for the eyes even if you feel comfortable with it. 3. Take the lenses off after every 12 hours so as to allow oxygen to your eyes. A lack of oxygen can be a cause for serious eye infections. 4. Moisture is of critical importance for your eyes. Modern-day lenses take care of the issue and tend to keep your eyes moist. However, some people might still experience dryness in the eyes, especially those who work on the computer for long hours or in an air-conditioned environment. To keep your eyes sufficiently moist, get yourself a good eye drop. When do I order and send out my wedding invitations? It's my recommendation that you order your wedding invitations at least 4 weeks prior to mailing them out to your guests. This will allow you plenty of time to receive your wedding invitations and double-check your order to make sure you've received everything you ordered and no mistakes were made. It will allow you enough time for a reprint is needed. It will also allow you plenty of time to address all the envelopes. Wedding invitations should be mailed out so that your guest will receive them at least 6 to 8 weeks prior to the wedding. This will allow your guest enough time to make travel plans and return the respond card you included with your wedding invitation. Typically, the respond by date should be 2 weeks prior to your wedding date. This should allow you enough time to make your final preparations. You'll have many other things to take care of as your wedding approaches, and the last thing you need is to have to rush to get your wedding invitations addressed and mailed out. There will undoubtedly be last-minute names to add and address changes to deal with, so please allow yourself plenty of time to accomplish this task. When it comes to engagements, manners matter. With marriage proposals modernizing into an anything-goes mentality, long-standing proposal customs are often considered optional, adding confusion to what's considered proper when it comes to proposing. In fact, a recent proposal survey conducted by Korbel champagne sellers revealed that 68% of Americans agree that there's no right way to propose. Korbel and etiquette expert Peter Post weigh in on some of today's most discussed proposal etiquette issues. Meet the parents. This is a common question and an area where the rules have slightly changed. The concept of asking your intended's parents' permission to wed may seem old-fashioned, but the modern equivalent isn't. Discussing your plans and intentions with your future in-laws is still a sign of respect. On bended knee, once considered a sign of servitude to the lover, this tradition dates back to the days of knights and chivalry and continues to evoke romance today. But if you think you'll be weak at the knees when proposing, pick another pose that's comfortable for you. Romance. Decide on what your intended will find sentimental and memorable and incorporate meaningful gestures such as asking for her hand at her favorite restaurant. As etiquette guidelines evolve with the times, planning a proposal can be confusing and overwhelming. That's why Korbel is twos again, helping men and women make their ultimate marry me moment a reality through the Korbel Perfect Proposal Contest. Judges will select 3 One Street Prize winners, and Korbel will bring their winning proposals to life just before Valentine's Day, 2005, including an exclusive round signature diamond engagement ring from Blue Nile created from among the top 1% of all diamonds in the world. The grand prize winner will also receive a honeymoon cruise on Norwegian Cruise Line. Your engagement ring, how to choose it well. The announcement of your engagement to your future life partner is the precursor to the wedding itself. For a person who is deeply in love, the importance of the engagement ring takes on a great significance, as the engagement ring is a forebearer of sorts for the wedding ring. The engagement ring does not and should not be relegated to an inferior ring when compared with the wedding ring. So when you are getting engaged, it's important for you to consider some tips on getting your best engagement ring. What then is the best engagement ring? Your engagement is a declaration to the whole world that you are a couple in love, and are making a public announcement that you are serious or going steady with a view to getting married shortly. Most, if not all, couples getting engaged would like their engagement ring to represent such a beautiful declaration of love. Many take the engagement ring as the surety of commitment, and as long as the engagement ring is on their finger, they are keeping themselves solely for each other and can appear as an item. In choosing their engagement ring, they would have to decide on the material they would want their engagement ring to be structured from. Some would like to have it in gold, with diamonds, or some in white gold or silver, but by and large this would be decided based on the question of affordability. An engagement ring can be of any precious metal with infilled gemstones, including jade or diamonds, but more important than that is the design of the ring. Connotations of love, symbols of enduring love, can be designed on the ring. If the engagement ring is a pre-made or jeweler's designed engagement ring, then it's important to buy that engagement ring from reputable jewelers to avoid being overcharged by unscrupulous dealers who treat this as a once-off purchase and so take the opportunity to jack up the price. When you purchase your engagement ring from a reputable and honest jeweler, you can be sure of a realistic price, as he will want to be your choice dealer when it comes to your actual wedding and hopefully can be your family jeweler, and to supply all your jewelry needs in the future. So when it comes to the engagement ring, first settle on the design, then settle on the expenditure, then make sure you purchase your engagement ring from the most reputable jewelry in town. White Swan Medical Uniforms, which is right for you. Trust White Swan for your medical apparel needs. Yes, there are many people who would exclaim that simply you trust this medical apparel company, but you deserve to know why trusting this medical apparel company is beneficial to you and your career. What is it that you get with White Swan uniforms and scrubs that you don't get from those other medical apparel designers? Aren't all medical apparel designers the same? Will you save money? You've heard the highly regarded names in the medical apparel industry such as Cherokee, Urbane, Dickies, Peaches and Barco. There are medical apparel designs with a reputation as offering the best quality at reasonable prices. Each medical apparel designer has something that makes them unique and unusual in this hustling and evolving industry. White Swan uniforms and scrubs are a superior choice for those wanting affordable solutions with the same high-quality look and feel. When you need superior quality and affordable rates, you'll find that you can trust White Swan uniforms and scrubs to provide you with just that. Consequently, there are more designs offering the high-quality construction you require. Why trust your needs to White Swan uniforms and scrubs? Construction. You can trust the high-quality construction. The materials used are soft and professional. The seams and hemlines are exceptionally designed to last longer. The construction means you can rely on your new medical apparel for longer without the need to continually purchase new ensembles for your wardrobe. Fashion. There is nothing like feeling and looking awesome when you go to work. You carry yourself just a little bit better and the positive attitude radiates to your clientele or patients. You can put your clientele or patients at ease, relieving tensions and anxieties. Hard to believe one piece of clothing can do so much for you and your patients or clientele. Affordability. Just because you work within the healthcare industry doesn't mean you've a lot of money to spend on your medical apparel. Many medical professionals live on a budget, and sometimes the affordable solution is the main goal. However, when you find a designer capable of providing all your needs, you'll be wise to stick with this designer. If you are on a budget, White Swan Uni 4 milliseconds and scrubs may be ideal for you. Functionality. There are few concepts as nice or as appreciated as affordable, functional healthcare clothing. Yes, you can have genuinely wonderful functionality in your workwear. Whether you choose a lot of pockets or simply choose accessories making it easier for you to transport what you need on your person, you'll find that functionality is an important part of your daily workwear ensemble. You can do more the more you have. There are few concepts as interesting or riveting as the medical apparel you choose to utilize on a day-to-day basis. You don't have to go overboard with price to get high quality, fashionable and affordable construction for your healthcare clothing. Looking good has never been so affordable or functional. Why hire a wedding planner? Are you trying to decide whether to hire a professional wedding planner or do it yourself? Take a look at this rudimentary collection of chores and details to be attended to in order to pull off a successful wedding. You'll probably want to run, not walk, to find the nearest professional wedding planner or consultant. There's the church wedding and all it entails, from providing your baptism certificate to choosing between confetti and biodegradable rice. Then there are such items as who sits where, ushers, bridesmaids, best men, flower girls, music, wardrobe, hairstyles, flowers and rings. Not to mention the vows and all the rehearsals. There's the reception. Finding the right venue and the right caterers can be a really stressful task. Then you've to plan the menu, the bar and the service, all the while hoping against hope that everything comes out okay, not to mention the wedding cake. There's the photographer, and do you want stills and videos too? What kind of transportation will you use? What about the invitations? How to know what to put on them, who to invite? Are you getting the picture yet? The above list shows only the tip of the iceberg. The myriad chores involved in completing just one of those tasks is enough to make one elope to Las Vegas or Mexico. In fact, the only reason you might hold back on hiring a wedding planner is your budget, but that reasoning is not well thought out. A professional wedding planner not only has the know-how and the contacts to get you the best deals around, but also will hold you to your original budget with an iron will and the experience to back it up. Without someone like this on your side, things can get out of hand pretty fast. Make your dream wedding a memory to cherish forever, not a nightmare full of stressful problems to solve. A wedding planner will stick with you through thick and thin and be a shield and a comfort so you can relax and enjoy the best day of your life. Types of psychics. When you hear the word psychic, do you think of someone who sells tarot card readings out of the back of her home? Do you think of those commercials late at night for psychic hotlines claiming to tell you what will happen to your love life in the future while you munch Cheetos for $3.99 a minute? Different people will have different ideas and stereotypes regarding psychic abilities, but the term psychic serves as an umbrella term for many different types of abilities and phenomena. Literally, the word psychic is connected to ESP or extrasensory perception. This could manifest in many different forms. Because of the broad nature of the term, many people make the mistake of assuming that if someone is said to be a psychic, then there is this vault of information in the psychic's mind that can be opened to reveal anything and everything from the past, present or future. However, this is rarely ever the case. Most people with ESP, or psychic abilities, have limitations to their powers. Sometimes they can see something that's not in their presence, while others can get a feeling or impression of something that cannot be seen literally. There are psychics called mediums who can communicate with people who have passed on in death to the other side. There are even psychics who can communicate with animals in a way that most people cannot. Some of these forms include clairvoyance, channeling, clairaudience, clairsentience, many more. What does this mean? You may be throwing your hands up and crying out, "Claire who?" Take a deep breath and calm down, if this is the case, because even though this seems confusing, it really doesn't have to be. People who have an awareness of something that they cannot perceive with the five senses are able to recognize what they are aware of through some sense other than directly seeing, hearing, smelling, tasting, or touching what is actually in front of them. This ability will show up in a variety of ways. So instead of expecting one of these people with special senses to know everything in some omniscient way, ask what it's that the psychic is able to sense and how they're able to sense it. Someone who is clairsentient can sense feelings and emotions in people, places or things, and something that could be in the past, present or future through a sense of feeling. The clairsentient is also called an empathic. They may feel a sense of foreboding before going through an airport. This would cause the person not to get on a plane and then the plane crashes. That's a clairsentient. A clairsentient is similar to a clairvoyant or someone with precognition. A clairvoyant can have knowledge or a sense of something without the five senses. Someone who has precognition will know something that will happen in the future. The clairvoyant and precognitive person will see the future, but the clairvoyant and the clairsentient will be able to know things about the past or the present as well. There are people who possess the ability to move objects with their minds, and this ability is called psychokinetic power. Maybe they can throw a ball without touching it or flip a light switch from across the room. This is a psychokinetic psychic. Another kind of physical intuition or ESP is a medical intuitive. The medical intuitive can tell what parts of the body are in distress and focuses on medical issues in people. There are many different ways that someone can sense something through extrasensory perception, or especially. It just depends on the person who is experiencing psychic abilities and how it happens. Shoes suit a man's need perfectly. If a man wanted to go fly fishing in a beautiful creek in the mountains, he might not be concerned about how stylish his shoes are because they will be encased in a pair of waders that reach up well past his waist. These shoes will suit a man's need perfectly while fishing, but will not look very well when worn for dining or dancing. Shoes that are dressy are perfect for the man that has somewhere special to go. The dress style in the shoes he chooses can be slip-on loafers or those that tie with shoestrings that can also be uncomfortable if worn for long periods of time. Knowing what the dressy occasion is will allow a man to choose the pair of shoes that is perfectly suited for the occasion. In order for some occasions to turn out well, a man must be comfortable with the shoes that they have on their feet. A day at the beach would be the perfect occasion for shoes such as flip-flops because there is sure to be plenty of sand around that can be quite hot at times and burn the feet if it is allowed to linger very long. Sandals could be worn, but they are not often perfect for the beach because the dressy styles of sandals are really rigid and make it hard for people to walk on sand correctly. Bikers require shoes that will conform to the pedals on the bike and would ensure that they were not too wide on the sides. Wearing dressy shoes would be out of the question and sandals would not work well at all. The shoes that would fit a man's need for this type of sporting event will have to have soles that grip and laces up the front to the point where the rider feels that they are tightened enough but still allow them to move the toes. There have been great achievements in the design of footwear worn by swimmers. The shoes that suit the aquatic feats of divers are made from materials that are thin but grip the feet with great strength. These styles of shoes also offer a swimmer some great safety features when walking around a pool because they're equipped with soles that allow the water to slip right through. These shoes are perfectly styled for beach wear too because some of these shoes have psychedelic colors which are very up to date with the latest footwear fashions that people prefer. Shoes for medical professionals. Ask any professional in the medical and nursing industry that's on their feet all day long what the greatest necessity is to working long hours standing or running from place to place, and it's going to be a good pair of shoes. Not only do you need good sturdy shoes for healthy feet and legs, but they need to be practical for your environment. It would be dangerous to have slick soles on a hard hospital floor or wet surfaces. A proper pair of shoes will not only protect your health but help with your overall well-being. Medical footwear goes beyond the old white nursing shoes of yesteryear. As medical uniforms and scrubs have evolved to be a statement of their wearer, so now has the footwear that goes with them. You aren't limited to just the plain white sneaker type shoe. You can have a spectrum of colors and styles from the leading brands in medical clothing. You can get the latest from Landau, Dansko, Dickies, Collegiate, Nursemates, Clogs USA and Urbane. Each brand brings its particular style and flair to their shoes. If you are looking for the industry standard, you should try our Dansko brand. You can choose from the most sophisticated like the Beacon Hill collection to the sporty like the Next Gen collection, all designed to bring you the support and comfort you need. Dansko's shoes are great for those of us with high arches. Dansko offers excellent arch support for those precious feet that keep you standing all day long. Ladies, do you need to match that new Urbane top? Well, you can match it perfectly with the Urbane clog, Impulse. The Impulse is colored in the same exact colors as Urbane's scrubs and uniforms. If you find you need your shoes to breath, try the Transit Mesh. Are you a college sports fan? You want your shoes to show your team spirit? You can show your support with Landau's Impulse collegiate shoes. Do you find you need something a bit more simple to be more comfortable? Try shoes from Clogs USA. You get an open back that lets your feet breath. Have the support without the constraining feeling of a full shoe. Clogs has new offerings today that can be worn in the medical field and also worn out on a hot night on the town. If you are one of those folks that need a really sturdy shoe that is protected from the elements, try the Dickies brand. Each of their styles is waterproof and UV and chemical resistant. If you need a tough shoe, try a Tough Name. Want to stick to a brand that's been around for over 40 years? Then Nursemates is the one for you. From slip-ons to lace-ups and from open back to classics, you can the tried and true styles that made this company famous. Nursemates also makes compression hose to make your feet totally comfortable during those long shifts, and no matter the type, the color or the brand, online retailers can fit you in the perfect medical and nursing shoe for you. More at http://www.embroidered-uniforms-corporate-apparel.com/medical-shoes-medical-uniforms-c-18_22.html. Use Safe Energy today. In the winter, your home heating cost may rise almost each year. There are many reasons for this rise in heating costs for all types of heat, whether you've electric, gas or oil heat in your house. There are several things to save money and get ready for the rise of energy costs in your home environment. Check out these tips to see how you can keep your bills lower this winter. Make sure your windows are insulated. Examine every room in your house to make sure your windows are sealed well. You can see if there is a leak by lighting a match and producing smoke near a shut window. If there's a leak, you can see the smoke go towards that part of the window. You can buy kits to patch up your windows and make them better to the winter. A ceiling fan can help bring warm air closer to where since warm air always goes up, the fan can help bring it down. You can get some that will help you out in the summer to keep cool too. Keep your doors closed when you aren't in the room. This will help you to keep cold air from escaping to the areas of the house that you use more often. This will also help you save money when you just heat the areas of the room that you are using. Use curtains and blinds to keep heat in. During the day, open your blinds so you get sunlight and then close them when it is dark to keep heat inside. You can really feel the difference when you use the sun's own safe energy to help you heat the rooms in your house and then close your curtains at night to keep the cold air out. Make sure that your doors are weatherproofed too, and make sure you cork your windows. You don't to feel a draft if you don't have to. Check the bottoms of doors to make sure that they aren't drafty. You can use cork to seal up windows, and if the seal is broken on your windows, make sure that you fix it wherever it is damaged. You can realign your doors because they can begin to sag and lose shape. You should do this before winter so you can have them fitting snugly to keep you warm. Make sure your furnace is in prime working order. You can hire someone to help you with this project and make sure that you are saving money by getting the most out of your furnace. When it's running poorly, you'll be losing money and you can have real issues with safety. Swiss Army watch, peerless keeper of time. The soldier released his parachute mid-air. He reaches the ground and wades through a murky swamp, making sure to raise his rifle above his head. He uses his compass to move towards the coordinates he was given. Then he peers through his binoculars and sees the fortress that he and his battalion have to storm for a search and rescue mission. After surveying the place for a few minutes, he grabs the communications receiver attached his uniform belt and calls headquarters. They inform him that he and his battalion have to strike at exactly 1600. The soldier looks at his wrist only to discover that he had left his Swiss Army watch at the base. The Army. Switzerland's military has the characteristics of both a regular army and a militia. It's probably best known for its up-to-date equipment, including Swiss Army watches. The army's origins can be traced to the old Swiss Confederacy's cantonal troops. This group had two functions. It may be called upon to help its own members or to fight outside threats. These armies were later changed to a federal army. In the late 1980s, the size of the Swiss Army began to shrink, and the trend continues to this day. Pilot your way through life among all the Swiss armed forces. The Swiss Air Force is the smallest. Consequently, there's much competition to get positions as aircraft pilots. In fact, at the age of 16, parachutists and potential pilots must conduct training during their own spare time. One can join a unit of candidate pilots after finishing officer school and finishing basic training. Though you may not join the Swiss Army, you must practice or train hard for any type of position you wish to have. A Swiss Army watch can assist you in this undertaking by ensuring that you keep appointments and follow schedules. An engineering marvel, soldiers training for Switzerland's military learn several practical lessons. Although they're far from begin Boy Scouts, the Swiss Army lives by the same rule. Be prepared is a mantra Swiss soldiers have to live out. It's thus not surprising that Swiss Army items, such as the Swiss Army watch, are engineered with the same mantra in mind. The Swiss Army watch, like the Swiss Army itself, is ready for just about any blow or challenge. Designed to be durable, classy and precise, the Swiss Army watch is the very epitome of everything that's wonderful and amazing about Swiss engineering. What makes a Swiss Army watch so distinctive? First is the workmanship. The Swiss in general are expert watchmakers. Switzerland is even touted as the watchmaking center of the world. The Swiss are such excellent watchmakers. In fact, watchmaking is one of the country's oldest, if not the largest industry. The Swiss government supports watchmaking in every way, including establishing schools and courses for training people in the craft of making Swiss Army watches. Other reasons a Swiss Army watch is on a league of its own include remarkable finish, durability, precision, and incredible attention to detail. So should you get your own Swiss Army watch? The answer is a resounding yes. A Swiss Army watch will not only help you keep track of time, it will let you keep time accurately and uniquely. The American struggle against drunk driving in recent years. 2 organizations have been formed to combat the deadly menace of drunk drivers. Mad Mothers Against Drunk Driving was formed to stop drunk driving, support the victims of it, and prevent underage drinking. SAD Students Against Destructive Decisions was created to provide students with the best prevention and tools to deal with underage drinking, drug use, impaired driving, and other destructive decisions. The 2 organizations take different approaches to drunk driving, and each is succeeding in its own way. MAD was founded in 1980 by Cindy Leitner following the death of her 13-year-old daughter, who was killed by a drunk driver out of bail for a hit-and-run accident only 2 days earlier. Leitner and other mothers who had lost children to drunk drivers formed MAD in an effort to stop the more than 30,000 alcohol-related driving deaths each year. They worked not only to educate the public about the dangers of drunk driving but to change societal attitudes about drinking and driving. By 1982, MAD had established 100 chapters across the nation. MAD appeared in newspapers and on TV. It addressed lawmakers, presenting not just statistics but the faces of the victims of drunk drivers. Thanks to their efforts, President Reagan signed into law the Uniform Eaters Drinking Age Act in 1984. MAD expanded its campaign from Don't Drive Drunk to Don't Drink and Drive. To accomplish this, it has recommended higher beverage taxes, lower drunk driving arrest thresholds, and roadblocks designed to frighten people out of social drinking. It has also created victim impact panels, where people convicted of driving while intoxicated hear the stories of parents, relatives, and friends of victims of drunk driving accidents. 26 years after the founding of MAD, alcohol-related driving deaths in the United States have been reduced to about 17,000 annually. Today, MAD has 600 chapters, community action teams, and offices in the United States. SAD was founded by Robert Anastas of Wayland High School in Massachusetts as Students Against Driving Drunk in 1981. SAD emerged as a response to more than 6,000 young people being killed in alcohol-related accidents each year. Anastas and 15 other students wrote the Contract for Life to facilitate communication between young people and their parents about potentially destructive decisions related to alcohol. SADD's approach to the problem was to develop peer-to-peer educational programs in school chapters ranging from middle schools to colleges. In 1997, SAD expanded its mission to include underage drinking, substance abuse, impaired driving, violence, and suicide. SADD's programs are key to the needs of individual school locations. These include peer-led classes, forums, workshops, conferences, and rallies, and other awareness-raising activities. Over its first decade, SAD has worked with many federal and state agencies, nonprofit groups, and foundations to get its message across. By 1990, due in part to the work of SAD, the number of young people killed in alcohol-related accidents fell to 2,000 per year. Both MAD and SAD have been influential in reducing the number of alcohol-related deaths in the United States. The African American. From slavery to the boardroom. According to world history, with the fast development of the New World, slavery served as the perfect solution to the labor crisis. Lands were expanding quickly and economies of that time were based on trade. Landowners needed vast amounts of labor for crops such as sugarcane, tobacco, indigo, rice, and cotton. So ideally, they sought the cheapest labor they could find. Slavery around the world, as in America, was a booming industry. The Africans along the west coast of Africa were known for their strength and ability to work assiduously under harsh weather conditions. Thus, slaves were exported from these areas of Africa. Europeans would visit slave auctions and often even kidnap Africans for slave trade. In exchange for these laborers, they accepted glass, whiskey, ivory, and guns as payment. The first Africans in America arrived as indentured servants via Jamestown, Virginia in 1619. As the world economies strengthened and the demand for crop produce became greater, African American slaves soon outnumbered the existing white population. In order to keep the slaves suppressed, the slave masters would ill-treat them by means of starvation, floggings, and sometimes even by killing them. However, these African American slaves had much metal in them and could not remain subdued forever, thus they took to different methods of revolting. Many African American slaves fled into the hills to escape the brutality they were treated with. These became known as Maroons, who lived like nomads and fed off what nature would provide them. However, the nation was groaning for liberty for these inhumanely treated slaves. Freedom, liberty, and democracy became the mantra of African American slaves who had vigorously started to fight the system for their rights. The word spread quickly, and little by little the slave rebellions began. Attempts by great men such as Gabriel Prosser of Virginia, Denmark Vesey of South Carolina, and Nat Turner also of Virginia to fight for freedom of his fellow brothers and shake the shackles of enslavement forever are still remembered today. It was due to men such as these that African Americans can now live with their heads held high, practicing their own culture and religion. The struggle for freedom was indeed a long and bitter one. In fact, many people have speculated that historians have deliberately failed to note the struggle that African American slaves faced. Today, America prides itself on being a free nation. A nation that accepts different races, religions, and creeds, one that is free and democratic in all 4 milliseconds. African Americans are now allowed to enjoy the freedoms their forefathers didn't, such as that of an education, the dream of being a business owner, or even a house owner. Many African Americans have excelled in academia and continue to help lead the nation from strength to strength today in various boardrooms across this great nation. The latest child abuse statistics: there are several agencies in the country reporting child abuse statistics. These organizations are trying to track trends and find out ways to stop child abuse wherever possible. Child abuse statistics are used to determine where and to whom social resources should be directed. For example, child abuse statistics state that 4 children in the US die every day as a result of child abuse. 3 out of 4 were under the age of 4. This number has been steadily rising over the years. This all means that there may need to be more resources like crisis nurseries for parents of children who are under the age of 4. There may need to be more education on abuse when the parents take the baby home, as so many young children are affected. Many experts feel like the rise in statistics is because of an increase in the population and an increase in reporting these cases. Child abuse statistics also indicate that a report of child abuse is made every 10 seconds. Perhaps there should be more call-in facilities for desperate parents who need relief from issues related to abusing their children. Such call-in centers could be anonymous and could offer crisis counseling for parents who just don't know where to turn. Somewhat surprising child abuse statistics state that children under the age of 12 years who are raped have perpetrators they know up to 90% of the time. Education for children can help give them the resources they need to tell someone about the abuse, especially cases where the abuse occurs over time. Having a counselor or trusted person at school to talk to would increase the chances that the child will tell his or her secrets to someone who can do something about it. Child abuse statistics state that child abuse crosses ethnic, socioeconomic, and religious lines. No group of people is exempt from child abuse. This may mean that religious figures must be aware of the possibility that someone in their congregation is having problems associated with abuse of their children. Emergency room doctors must be just as suspicious of a child of a well-to-do family having a broken bone as they do a child of poor parents. Child abuse statistics affect adults as well. Up to 37% of female prison inmates and 14% of male prison inmates were once victims of child abuse. These rates are higher than the average population, and it may indicate that child abuse promotes later illegal activity in adulthood. Child abuse statistics state that children of sexual abuse are more than twice as likely that average to abuse alcohol. They are also more than 3.8 times likely to abuse drugs. It may mean that drug and alcohol abuse centers may need to deal with child sexual abuse issues before the person can really recover from their addiction issues. Child abuse statistics inform us that a third of all abuse victims go on to abuse their own children. The cycle of abuse can only be stopped if people recover from their own issues before they have their own children. Terms and conditions. Legal notice. The publisher has strived to be as accurate and complete as possible in the creation of this report, notwithstanding the fact that he does not warrant or represent at any time that the contents within are accurate due to the rapidly changing nature of the Internet. while all attempts have been made to verify information provided in this publication. The publisher assumes no responsibility for errors, omissions, or contrary interpretation of the subject matter herein. Any perceived slights of specific persons, peoples, or organizations are unintentional. In practical advice books, like anything else in life, there are no guarantees of income made. Readers are cautioned to rely on their own judgment about their individual circumstances to act accordingly. This book is not intended for use as a source of legal, business, accounting, or financial advice. All readers are advised to seek services of competent professionals in legal, business, accounting, and finance fields. You are encouraged to print this book for easy reading. Don't leave before you press like button below and subscribe to this channel. As a subscriber, you will receive a new notifications every time a new video is uploaded. Good luck.